Well, Ms. Marvel stuff releases on Wednesdays, Kenobi's on Wednesdays, and now DC drops a trailer on me. Lovely, lovely. Thank you all so much for ensuring I never get anything else done because there's always new stuff popping up. Anyways, we have our first proper trailer for Black Adam. This was after the weird, like a year ago, the sort of weird, almost animatic looking thing. Let's see what we've got. This is the film starring the traditionally a Shazam villain, but has been repositioned as a bit of an anti-hero in recent years, and this stars Dwayne Johnson. Let's see how the trailer looks.
Black Adam, what have your powers ever given to you?
Containment
Nothing
fluid.
but heartache.
What is it?
I was a slave until I died. Then I was reborn a god.
Okay.
My son sacrificed his life to save me.
I mean, that's a fair reason to be mad.
Now, I kneel before no one.
In this world,
This could work, actually.
there are heroes
Oh. Oh.
and there are villains.
I have not been keeping track of how many other characters are in this.
Well, I do.
My vision has shown me the future. You have two choices. You can be the destroyer of this world.
Yeah, right, dude.
Or you can be its savior.
Ooh.
That's up to you.
I do kind of like the torn cloak. Oh, come on.
Behind you! Did he just catch a rocket? He caught a rocket.
October. It's more promising than I thought it was going to be. I'm not sure I actually knew what to expect with this. So the first thing I started to say that I didn't finish is, what is it with DC and recruiting old Bonds to put in beards and act all ominous? Because between Timothy Dalton and Doom Patrol and now Pierce Brosnan and this, like, it's becoming a pattern with them. I mean, how would Daniel Craig look in a beard? I'd be up for seeing that. Anyways. So yeah, a lot more heroes are in this than I expected. I saw Hawkman, I saw Dr. Fate, looked like the Atom was in there. Yeah, so there's a lot more going on here than I expected. Now, the thing that kind of made me go, okay, that could work, is at the very least, as the trailer presents it, there's a lot of emphasis on the wrongs committed against him. Now, Black Adam, like I said, he is traditionally a villain, and I actually don't know what his traditional or even current canon backstory is beyond having had the powers of Shazam prior to the current incarnation with Billy Batson, but like use them for evil. But like, here's the impression I get off this, and it's one I could go with. So he brings up having been a slave. He brings up the loss of his family taken from him. And if you're gonna have somebody who is going to take no nonsense and possibly be a bit more violent than we would want our traditional heroes to be, giving somebody that background and putting proper emphasis on it, that like this person has been through some of the worst that humanity does to itself, and this is what has resulted, that could work. Especially if they don't go for a flat out, like, implying that his worst impulses are a direct result of his trauma, because that gets into a trauma leads to villainy trope, which I'm really starting to have issues with these days. But in terms of like the degree of wrong done to him, a lifetime of slavery, that's a lot. Like, I know Black Adam himself is not African American, nor is Dwayne Johnson. But like, just to make a comparison, if there was a character that, you know, had been a slave in the US, like prior to the emancipation, and then got superpowers and wanted to use them to wreck shop of the people that person saw as having done them wrong and perpetuated this harm, yeah, my gut reaction would be, I'll just get out of your way. I get it. And that's kind of a little bit of where I'm at with this right now, at least in terms of what it's implying where it's going. Because it is difficult, especially if they eventually plan to actually have him be a villain for Shazam, if and when they ever get around to having the two of them actually meet up. But for right now, dealing with him as a solo character, this is a pretty good angle to take, because it puts an emphasis on his anger and the level of violence that he is willing to mete out, and which does not have to in and of itself be presented as a good thing, but presented in a way where you understand where that anger comes from. That could work. It's a delicate balance to get right, and there's a lot of ways to have it go wrong. But to see them at least appearing to make that attempt at that angle for this character with this actor who is incredibly charismatic, but when he scowls is like, oh, I did not want to make you mad. Yeah, I think he could pull that off, where he's charismatic enough that you want to root for him, but then he does stuff and you're like, oh, I don't know how comfortable I am rooting for you now. Again, I don't know if that's exactly where they're going, but if it is, Dwayne Johnson can pull that off. And yeah, I'm not going to say I'm suddenly pumped or like super excited, but that gives me a bit more hope and interest than I previously had in the Black Adam movie. My interest before was like, oh, yeah, right, I forgot that was being made. Now it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll get around to that. I'm not saying I'm going to jump on it as soon as it's in theaters, but I'm going to want to see it, I think. Black Adam, what'd you think of this trailer? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Like, a share, a subscribe. Patreon is what pays the bills. But all the other stuff that I mentioned helps me out as well. And there's links down below for other things that I do that you can follow me on, or merch or whatever. But don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. All right, I've got thanks to give for my Patreon supporters: Robin Moore, Zubin Fala, Tarak, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Oliver B., Linda Walters, Emu Delki, The Oath of Boyd, TT, Fernobulax the Poodle, Zach, Idolin, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Toku BL Huvian, Adam RDL Taylor, Shane Ross, Shayla Gourlay, and Brendan LaRose. The Rats and I thank you.